There are few universally accepted truths in this world, but I think we can all agree parking at Madison College is hard. Wouldn't it be great if you had a spot right out front waiting for you every morning? If you have a membership to BCycle, you absolutely could. But is the price of admission worth it?
I'm Sean Bull, and I've spent way too much time over the past year testing these things. Now it's time to find out. Is Madison's BCycle right for you?
Let's get this out of the way immediately. BCycle is not in any way sponsoring this video, so I'm as unbiased as I can possibly be. That said, there wasn't much of a financial obstacle to doing a review. With my METC email, it only cost me $20 for a whole year's membership. For that kind of money, it's hard to make anything sound like a bad investment. Still, I think it's worthwhile to take a comprehensive look at the service, no matter how low the barrier to entry may be. First, an overview. BCycle is a service that rents bicycles out of stations located all around the city of Madison. There are other companies that do basically the same thing in big cities all around the world. The customers pay a membership fee that allows them to check out these bikes. In order to prevent theft, the bike has to be checked back into a station within 30 minutes of checking out. After briefly checking in, it can be checked back out to keep riding. In a way, it's the principles of communism applied to bikes. In theory, no one really needs their own personal bicycle, they just need bikes available where and when they want to ride. With enough population to fund a large network of shared bikes, this can work really well. Casey Neistat did a video years ago testing New York's system, and he seemed to feel positively about his experience. As well he would. New York is the sort of place you could cram with bike stations, and the huge population would still make it financially viable. Madison, on the other hand, is not nearly so dense. This comes with a corresponding drop in number of stations. Look at the map on the BCycle app or website, and you will see clearly that the current network is focused around downtown and the UW campus. This makes sense for the company, but it certainly limits the options for Madison College students. If you want to use BCycle to commute to class, you currently have to live on the Isthmus or near Olbrich Park. While everything within a few miles of Easttown is certainly within biking distance of campus, they might not have a single station for a few more years. At the moment, I think it's more compelling to go the other way. Let's say you manage to get a great parking spot when you first arrive to school. Now you have a break between classes and you want to go get lunch or run other errands, but you don't want to lose that spot. Well, you could check out a BCycle, head for downtown, or go anywhere within a 30-minute round trip. Even the restriction of having to return to the MATC station within 30 minutes is surprisingly permissive. Within that time, you could travel to Hy-Vee, Walgreens, one of two Quick Trips, or any number of restaurants. That's a lot of use for $20 a year. Of course, all of this is meaningless without examining the bikes. So what are those like? If I had to sum them up in one word, they're utilitarian. These specially made Trek cruisers feature a 3-speed twist-to-shift transmission, a front basket rated to 20 pounds, and the thickest kickstand ever made. They're comfortable enough to ride. There's no suspension to speak of, but this wide saddle is something many will appreciate, and it's easy to adjust the seat to fit most people. These bikes are heavy though. That isn't so bad, except that you'll already be working hard to keep up a decent speed. The slowness is inescapable. BCycles need a 4th gear, maybe a 5th while we're at it. The low gears that exist are great for starting off or climbing up hills, and the 3rd gear is a nice relaxed cruising speed. But BCycle's whole usage model centers around making the most of strict 30-minute increments of time. So as your legs start to burn on long stretches between stations, you'll really wish you had an extra overdrive gear to take some of the load off. I completed my first year with BCycle in May, and I did not hesitate to renew my membership. I have a bicycle at home, one I very much like, but I'm not going to drive it 25 miles to school every day just in case I want to go for a ride. These red bikes are not perfect, but they represent a wealth of potential. All this city has to do is keep BCycle in business, and someday, I think they'll become truly revolutionary. I was going to end my review there, but then I got an unexpected email. It turns out, someday has come sooner than I thought. On the 18th of June, Madison became the first BCycle city to completely overhaul its fleet. The red bicycles, staples of Madison scenery since 2011, were whisked away overnight, replaced by something familiar, yet entirely different. Don't let the sleek new paint job fool you. This is still the same heavy frame that I was going to complain about, yet ultimately recommend. However, it now also carries an electric motor, and the boost it brings to the pedals makes it feel like a completely different ride. As there's no throttle, you still have to pedal for this motor to kick in. Still, it brings a feeling of effortless speed that the first BCycle model sorely lacked. It's actually kind of funny, given that you're not really going much faster. To comply with local regulations, the electric assist stops cold at 17 miles per hour. To accelerate any more, you're on your own, but from 0 to 17, it feels like a whole new bike. The motor's effort is supposed to match yours, boosting harder the more you pump your legs. In my experience, this works near seamlessly. With boost on, these new bikes feel light and nimble. If BCycle hadn't gone out of their way to make it obvious, I bet some riders wouldn't even know they were electrified. Of course, reality sets in once power runs out. Thankfully, that should rarely, if ever, happen. According to a rough estimate from BCycle reps, a full charge is good for 30 to 40 miles. That should be more than enough for a day, after which the battery can be swapped for a fresh one. How well this system works will depend entirely on how proactively the batteries are replaced. From what I've seen, BCycle is fairly active in managing their network, but only time will tell if they can keep up with the demand. Though I would love to only shower the new bikes with praise, I do have a few concerns. First, I think it's cool that they integrated a smartphone shelf into the handlebars, but I guarantee that someone will forget their phone, leaving it strapped to a bike as they walk away. Second, the thing that will probably annoy me the most over time, I didn't know it was possible for pedals to be too low, but here we are. I noticed this whenever I would try to quickly go around a corner. If you extend your leg as you lean into a turn, the pedal can easily scrape the ground. Sure, I'll eventually adjust to this, but as this pedal, scuffed up after only a day of use, can attest, eventually can't come soon enough. One more complaint that I think is most important for real-life use. Where is the built-in bike lock? I didn't get any footage of the locks when I was shooting the red bikes, because I assumed it would just be included as a given with the new models. Now that this feature seems to have been omitted, I guess I have to go back and talk about what we've lost. The old BCycles had a cable lock built in, and as far as I know, they worked great. The lock enabled riders to stop anywhere without worrying about bike theft, a feature that would be even more useful now. See, in addition to upgrading the bikes themselves, BCycle of Madison has now doubled the checkout duration from 30 minutes to a full hour. In that span of time, you could absolutely use a bike lock. You could eat at a restaurant. You could explore a local park. You could get actual errands done. But without the lock, you have two options. Either you bring your own, which is inconvenient, or you never let the bike out of your sight until it's back at the station. I truly feel like this is a missed opportunity, but it would be easy enough for the company to add bike locks, so at least this is possible to fix. Okay, enough complaining. Keeping this huge update in mind, how worthwhile is a BCycle membership to students of Madison College? It's important to note the 50% price increase that takes effect this year. To pay for all these shiny new toys, the annual student membership will now set you back $30 instead of the $20 of years past. Still, it can't be stressed enough how the new bikes are leaps and bounds better than their predecessors. Just as critically, the ride time is now extended to 60 minutes per checkout, which makes a world of difference in the bike's range and practicality. Representatives of BCycle say they're working on getting more stations near Madison College campuses, notably around Park Street and East Washington Avenue. Moving forward with those relies on a lot of things going right, but this summer's upgrade inspires hope for the future. I say a BCycle membership is absolutely worthwhile. Any reservations I had are pretty much gone. As it turns out, the switch to electric was just the kind of jolt the system needed. I want to make a follow-up video to this in a couple of months, something to see how the bikes have worn in after extended use. Tell me down in the comments anything you'd like me to test, or share your own BCycle electric experience. I want to incorporate as many of the comments as possible into my next video. To make sure you don't miss that, subscribe to Clarion Broadcasting, the independent student media of Madison College. A little cross-promotion, check out clarionradio.com for music, talk shows, and more. And you can find me on Twitter @BullSean. For Clarion Broadcasting, I'm Sean Bull. I'll see you soon with the update, and for now, thanks for watching.